It's locked, all right. The lady of the manor isn't expecting visitors.
I wonder if this is a chapel. Right here. Maybe. Probably not. It wouldn't be very uncommon for castles to have a chapel separate to the keep. These... Interesting. You see these ramparts? Or we are in the ramparts. The battlements? They're very, very low. But these ones are tall. This would be for the inner bailies, but there's no inner bailey here. The bailey is the walled-in area, like we're in the bailey right now. And that would be multiple ones, most likely. This is a really interesting castle. I do wonder if it's a replica of a real-life castle. It's really done with attention to detail on the main structure. There's probably some... wrong things here and there, I suppose. But I wouldn't be able to tell. We've got an inner portcullis over here. That doesn't seem to be working. And then there's this area over here. This could be the chapel. Especially... Yeah. There could be a... Oh, yeah. Oh, don't tell me that's what it is. I can't see from here. Oh, there's a door here. No, cannot go. I can't see from here, but if that is the chapel... then the portcullis may have a passage from above that connects to a special area where the Lord, or the Lords would attend, especially if this is a castle with lands around, with people that would come to the castle for the church ceremony. Then there would be a segregated area up top, as many churches do, in fact, have up top areas. And it wouldn't be accessible from the church itself. It would only be accessible from the castle. Some richer castles actually have chapels inside of the keep itself. And sometimes they would have... Oh, look at that, another beautiful window. Although this one, being at lower ground, feels like maybe a... artistic liberty, I don't know. I don't know how to progress, by the way. I haven't been up through here. Oh.
Maybe it's just my imagination, but I think I smell Elizabeth's perfume. She must be here somewhere.
Yeah, your nose would be the first to succumb to imagination. It's easy to imagine smells, especially in such vivid areas. There's paintings out here, but I mean, dear Lady Ashbury, thank you for your recent letter and all the good news it contained. I cannot wait to finally meet you when you arrive in London. The garden is beautiful under the summer sky, although I noted your wish to avoid heat and direct sunlight because of your frail health. You're welcome any day. We'll discuss this wonderful idea of yours concerning the foundation of an orphanage for young ladies, inspired by the French Maison Royale de Saint-Louis, sadly closed when the French people chose, my god, I can't even write these words down, to cut their king's head off. Such a place destined to provide a good education to gifted but poor orphan girls will surely excite my friends here in the city. You can count on me and my influence to help make your project a huge success. And this is from 1865 from the Countess Alexandra Somerset. It could be just a coincidence.
I cannot enter.
But the words of the Icor always being women.
This castle is falling apart.
Yes. Yes, it is. But on the other side, oh, this is new. Can I go back up? No.
That sweet fragrance. Elizabeth's perfume. She was here, and recently.
Here and recently. Oh. It's a Van Gogh. Sorry, not Van. Van. Van Gogh. Yes. Portrait of Lady Ashbury by Vincent van Gogh from 1885. Portrait of Elizabeth and Jacob Blackwood in Versailles.
This painting looks suspicious.
Oh, this painting. Oh yeah. Holy crap.
A sword and a moon are the symbols I should look for.
That is a painting and a half. Holy crap. So we're back upstairs. Dear Miss Ashbury, when last we this is from 1807, from Samuel Lewis, independent contractor. When last we communicated, you asked for the conveyance of a large coffin from Temple Church, London, to the crypt of the Ashbury Castle in Scotland. I am happy to report your request has finally been validated. My drivers have been informed that, for security reasons, guards must always protect the coffin. You have hired these individuals who will be waiting for us in London. They also have been informed that under no circumstance should the carriage try to pass a river by boat, but always by road and bridges. For the previous wood or precious wood and relics inside the coffin cannot be exposed to humidity and moisture. You'll find a detailed quote for the entire operation under this letter. We are ready to go to London as soon as payment is received in full. That's her traveling. That's what that is. So we're still... I mean, we came here by car, so I suppose it makes sense. Oh, we're back up here. Freaking hell. The shine. Oh, I can't play the piano. Oh. Portrait of Elizabeth Blackwood by Johannes Vermeer. Probably Dutch name as well. 1666. Huh. 1666. 1795. Dear Mr. McAllister, as the new legal owner of the Ashbury estate, I intend to quickly engage in the overdue maintenance and repairs of the walls and the crypt of the castle. Among the few architects I invited to send forth proposals, I was most impressed by your respectful approach concerning renovations on historical buildings and their preservation. I would be glad to meet you at your convenience. My only request would be to speak to you directly and not your assistants. Any evening of next month would be agreeable. You may come to the castle, or I can meet you at your office as you prefer. If you agree to come to the castle, I could show you what kind of repairs and modifications I have in mind concerning the crypt, which may need considerable work and reconstruction. From Lady Ashbury.
Like most castles, this one has a crypt, and it holds something special inside.
Well, William Marshall is who is held inside. Her mention of historical castles. Oh, that's my painting. She put it up. Right across hers. Her mention of historical castles, though, is ahistorical. The modern attitude, or historical buildings, rather. The modern attitude, or the current day attitude towards historical preservation, was not seen at all in, they just didn't have the same perspective as we do in modern times. Castles they were renovated, and there was preservation, but the rehabilitation of things was seen as preservation. And there was a much... Normally, I'm of course generalizing, but culturally speaking, There's always been a very big, strong trust in the spoken word and legends and the passing of history of a castle. You wouldn't need to preserve the castle as it was. You would just tell the story of how it was. And over the years, certainly with the advent of the printed word, and as a culture, we have begun to understand that spoken language is really unreliable. And so that over the years, and over the last few centuries specifically, we begin to understand that the things that people say are not exactly at all what they are. So that's where a lot of the preservation efforts of the 19th century, starting 19th century, the 20th century certainly was where it really started. A lot of the preservation efforts of historical architecture, and not just historical architecture, but that's where it comes from. It's from the knowledge that you can't just rely on what people tell you things were like. You need to preserve things as they were, and that's really a very modern thing to do. And indeed, it might be a thing that won't continue happening in the next few centuries for one reason or another. It's just that as a culture, preserving historical buildings as they were is just not very common. And I'm talking about Europe. Outside of Europe is even less common. Anyway, let's see what I have to say about this. Portrait of Dr. Jonathan Reed by Elizabeth Ashbury, 1918.
Elizabeth, my love, you allow my portrait to watch over you while you sleep. I'm flattered.
Your portrait is also right next to a torch. So is hers, to be honest. Let's skip past that because it's bad. Picture of Lady Ashbury in Paris, 1888. That's during the construction of the Eiffel Tower, as you can see in the background. At the time, the tallest tower in the world. Was it, actually? I don't know. Was that big statue? There's a big statue that is enormous. Was that constructed already? Let's go down through here again. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. We got shields. Very small shields. Very, very tiny shields. I wonder what that means. It's not uncommon to see just badly proportioned ceremonial weapons, especially swords. That happens a lot. Swords that can't even be wielded properly because their hilts are weird or whatever. But shields they go the other way. They become enormous. Now, these shields are tiny. I mean, in comparison to video game shields, they're normal. Like, this is a normal shield in video games, but video games always make shields tiny for whatever reason. Shields are enormous. They're made for protection against arrows. Like, even this shield is tiny. It's not really, actually. That's fairly proportioned. These are light shields. Oh, that might be where we're supposed to go. 1909. Dr. Edgar Swansea writes to her, I thank you for your previous letters and ardent discussions about vampire folklore. It's now obvious we share an opinion concerning scientific and modern approach toward the need for blood and the cure of addiction. I must confess I admired your charitable attitude when I met you at the Dunbarrow Sanatorium, and I'm still impressed by your kindness when talking with humble and poor patients. I was delighted to read about the position of administrator at the Pembroke Hospital you financed since its founding. After a few days of deliberation, I'm happy to accept your offer. It will be, for me, an occasion to get back to the busy streets of London after years of public service in the beautiful but far quieter Scotland. I will be glad to meet you there and discuss with you further about immortality, its advantages and disadvantages, and how to enhance your condition. I look forward to our next meeting. Dr. Edgar Swansea. He says Scotland is beautiful. Huh. Now, don't get me wrong. Scotland is beautiful. But it's very foggy. I've never been, mind you. I wonder what I'm missing here. It's very foggy. Would people just have that perception of Scotland as a beautiful country? You know, in comparison to England, I suppose. Oh, we're back over here. Oh, this was locked, yeah. Nah, it depends on the person. The 19th century and the 18th century, they love their thick forests and stuff like that. And Scotland is a lot of crags. There's a name for the type of landscape that they have. They don't have too much forests. 1907, dear Lady Ashbury, I write to confirm that my men will be at your castle next Monday to begin the new work on the crypt and its access. The plans have been approved, and I'll personally be on site to supervise the installation of the locks and security measures you have requested. I also can assure you that my men have been briefed about never entering the crypt itself on the second floor of the castle. I must say I'm proud to continue and enhance the work started by my great-grandfather when employed by your ancestor in 1795. Very sincerely, Angus McAllister. Oh, look at that. Big fireplace in here. Oh, I love that. Ooh.
What are these symbols? I can feel a mechanism, but it doesn't work.
It's a sword.
One last switch,
And a moon. Of course, I have no idea where the moon is.
Voila.
Voila, indeed. And it's V, not OO. I understand the accent can make you say voila rather than voila, but it's French for aya, for observe, see there. It's not quite how it goes. It's weird, but it is French for voix, la, ici. Wait, where? No, it's probably a mixture. La is not a word in French. Ici? No, ici is here in French. What about there? How do you say there in French? Oh, and of course it is the fireplace that opens. Oh, that means the other door was not where I was supposed to go. Let's go check it out. It's gorgeous, though. Everything is amazing. I love this. I would hate to live here. Oh, look, it's the beautiful window. I would hate to live here because I hate tall rooms, and I don't like. I don't like sitting on these chairs and just, yeah. They're not very comfortable. This is the other window. Yeah, it's just I don't like it. It's not quiet either. I really like confined spaces with carpets. This is what I like. And then everything echoes and the wind howls, and it's just, I would hate it. I mean, I wouldn't hate it, as in, I wouldn't like to live here, but it's a place I like to visit. I've been to a lot of castles here in Portugal, specifically. And it's lovely, but well, it depends on, I suppose, on the castle. There's some castles that are bad. So let's go down, I suppose. Just goes down. An angel came to me. Blessed be to God. Michael appeared to me last night in all his glory, shaped in glorious blood, to grant me eternal life at the dusk of my life. The apparition was so sublime and terrible that I could not help but lower my head and close my eyes. Struck by the divine gift, I fell to the ground only to awake the next night. You will serve me as you served your kings, said the angel before striking me with his power. You will protect this land through the eons to come. For all who knew me, I should now hide and retreat, for they consider me dead. Soon I will leave the company of men to serve my new purpose. Blessed be God. Michael appeared to me last night in my retreat on the temple church and asked me to prepare for battle. The land must be saved. Death is everywhere. And this is in 1350, by the way. The other one was 1217. The Black Death, an epidemic sent by the devil himself to punish mortals all over the world. My arm is strong. In the name of God I shall smite the enemies of mankind. England shall prevail. 1569. It is almost 20 years since my fight started against the devil, and the end is uncertain. From time to time... Did I say 50? I meant 20 years since my fight. From time to time, the plague, the Black Death, reappears in a village, in a town, and each time the vicious minions of hell approach and get their share of the mortal suffering. Vampires, dreadful creatures, I won't let this land collapse. Until my last breath, I'll serve to protect England. 1578. Tonight, in the small village of Hoddesdon, I met the most delicate soul I've seen for a long time. She was singing for the dead, singing for those she knew and loved, those killed by a new plague outbreak, without fearing for her own life. Her voice moved me so I chose to let her live. I offered her eternal life as a reward for her virtue and most pious attitude. Her name is Elizabeth Englewood. I'm not alone anymore. Together we shall praise God in all his glory for the eons to come. 1618. My heart is breaking, my soul is bleeding. Tonight, my dear Elizabeth left me. I have taught her all I knew, all she needed to know. Now she must walk her own path through the ages. This is her wish, and I will respect it. Elizabeth Englewood, my sweet daughter, is gone, for she now wants to be known as Elizabeth Blackwood. I made her a promise. If she ever comes back to Hoddesdon, she will find me there, managing the Bull Inn her parents owned before dying. William Marshall shall disappear for a few times, too, now that the Black Death is no more. Until we meet again, I shall be known as William Thorne, waiting for my angel to come back. So she... William Marshall is not here. No, William Marshall is here. I was thinking that maybe Merlin was saying that my sons, and he was talking about Elizabeth as well as me. But no. William Marshall might be here, but she's the daughter of William Marshall herself. 1665. The devil is at work again. The Great Plague is back, reaping thousands of lives in London. I must sell the Bull Inn and go there. Once more, William Marshall shall protect the land. The next year, what have I done? I let the devil infect me. God forgive me. The terrifying creature I had to defeat was a demon straight from hell, an abomination of the flesh, a walking apocalypse. Apocalypse, by the way, means revelation, not the end of the world. But it's I don't think people from 1666 would say that. It's a very, very modern thing that we say apocalypse to mean the end of the world, because of no, is it a modern thing? Maybe it isn't. I don't know. Either way, apocalypse doesn't mean that. It's like the prodigal son. It just means somebody that spends a lot of money, not somebody that runs away and comes back. I had to trap the dreadful creature in St. Paul's Church and set the building on fire. Without the advice of Michael, I don't know if I could have defeated my enemy. The flames cleansed the city of the demon's presence. Oh, that means that's the Great Fire of London of 1666. That's what it ties into. But half of London burned down, yeah, right there. Ever since, I've dreamt of a red flood, of slaughter and rage. It's like the disaster had tainted my blood, my very soul. For the first time in centuries, I am afraid. I shall crawl back to my retreat and pray to God for mercy for my infected soul. The next year, Elizabeth came to me. She said she felt my pain and rushed to save me, my poor daughter. Blinded by rage, intoxicated by the blood of hate, I bid her. She fled, shocked by my betrayal. I laughed and cried as she cursed me. God, have I betrayed you? Have you abandoned me? And that's when she got that infection, I think. Possibly. My prayers have been heard. I have found the strength to resist the need for blood, the never-ending hunger. My poor Elizabeth, will you ever forgive me? I've heard you now kill and take pleasure in bloodbath with this new progeny of yours. You're a victim in all this. What have I done? I swear I will find a way to make amends for what I have done to you. I swear I shall only rest once I know how to appease the blood of hate. The blood of hate being... Stop that, my God. The blood of hate being the Red Queen. The Brotherhood of the St. Paul's Stole finally agreed to meet me in London. They proposed to meet inside the new cathedral of St. Paul. I like the wit and solemnity of these men. What a symbol to choose the place where I defeated this disaster, but also the place where I fell. I agreed to their proposition. There, in the sacred silence of the church and under the eye of God, they respectfully listened to me. They acknowledged my victory against this evil creature, the Disastro, the Eater of Stars, who only wished to spread death and pestilence all around her. Since they acknowledged my will to save London in 1666, they heard my request, my burning desire to stop the blood of hate. Their primate promised to come back to me with an answer. The primate of St. Paul wrote back to me with just a name, the Tear of Angels. According to him, this ancient artifact could heal anything, cleanse any blackened soul, and purify my blood. Blessed be the Lord. It took me more than 100 years to find a cure for the blood of hate, but I may finally have found it. Soon the rage shall end. Soon I may repair the wrong I did and cleanse my failures. Now all I need to do is retrieve the necessary ingredients to create the artifact. Blood of the purest heart mixed with the blood of a king. To find such rare ingredients is not what worries me the most, for time is on my side. It's the last part that worries me. Oh, we read this before. It's the last part that worries me. Pure essence of garlic. Yeah, I finally managed to gather all the ingredients needed to concoct the Tear of Angels. Blood of the purest heart for the fortitude, blood of a king for courage, garlic essence, but for the painful cleansing. After months of impatience, almost made mad by the hunger, I waited again and again until finally Elizabeth cautiously came to me. As promised, I had chained myself to be sure I would not attack her again. I did not recognize my sweet daughter at first, for she only was Lady Blackwood now, the dreadful mistress of the dark, who took delight in slaughter and carnage in friends. She smirked as I apologized and cried for what I had inflicted to her. She shouted at me when I tried to explain to her that my bite had infected her, had given her the blood of hate, now burning in her veins, in her soul. I told her I have found a cure, and that I had managed to create 1 dose of antidote. I gave it to her, to give her back her previous peaceful life. In exchange, I only asked her to take care of me, for I intended to be locked down in my tomb, chained if necessary, to impeach me from feeding on any mortal or immortal. She reluctantly took the Tear of Angels and left. I hope to see her again soon, cured and at peace. And this is 1786. So that means that's why she's a healthy carrier. But it also means that William Marshall, even though he didn't die basically in 1666 as the order, Ascalon order thinks, but he's infected and he's been here for 200 years more. I can't see very well down here. It's very dark. And the sound is freaking out. Because I'm moving into places that I shouldn't be moving into.
Drop your sword, Father. You have nothing to be afraid of.
Shall we abandon this then? Shall we lower our heads?
No. Never. You taught me that.
Blood is approaching. Old but young. How strange. Shall I drink it? Smite it?
No, Father. He is a friend. Please, rest. I'll take care of it.
Caution, Elizabeth. Deceit runs through these veins.
I know, Father. What took you so long, Jonathan?
I was looking at the castle.